right, everybody. It's Sunday, February 22nd, 2026. I'm gonna welcome everybody into the live show here on Sunday night. We're getting ready for a nor'easter here out on the East Coast. I'm not sure if any of you in the New York or Connecticut area, I believe they're getting snow right now, but it is really nice to see everybody here. And tonight we're going to cover day 22 of the disappearance and abduction of Nancy Guthrie. And I've been watching the JLR stream as I've been working throughout the day. It looks like some media is packing up. Looks like they're having a shift change here at the Guthrie home. And we had a search party today. We had locals and volunteers that went out and searched around the home, in around some of the private areas and the public areas of Nancy Guthrie's home. There were some items that were collected and turned over properly to the Pima County Sheriff's Department, which was great that people out there and active. And I believe another glove was found, another black glove was found today. So we're going to get into a lot of that. And I have a presentation for all of you that I worked very hard on today, and just want to go through some of the information that we've seen over the last 22 days. But let's do this. Let's wait for some more people to get in here. I'm going to pull up the chat, just see who's here, trying to get better at that, trying to get better at greeting everybody when they come in. But it is nice to see everybody. I get it's a Sunday night. Everybody's hanging out, at home, getting ready for this nor'easter. Granny's in the chat. Thank you. Nice to see you. Oliver's here, channel member. Nice to see you as well. I was sorry I was running late. I'm usually very prompt about being on time, and I apologize. I did, Granny. I actually did. She asked me about the Mexico situation. Yeah, I actually did a live stream on that earlier around 3:00. So please, if you haven't checked that out, it was very informative. Go back, check it out after the show. We are starting at 8. It was a little past 8:00. I apologize. I apologize. It's funny. I had my stream set for 6. I didn't mean to have it set at 6. And then I realized early, it's like, oh gosh, I put it on the wrong time. So I had to bump that up. I am Tammy's in the house. Hello. Are we back? Are we backing time? How's everyone? Yeah, I had to bump up the time. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oliver, we got Oliver already. Let's see. Just Jules says just before the nor'easter. Nice to see you. Let's see. Pat's lover LTL in chat. Hello, how are you? Jenny's here. Nice to see you, Jenny. Lil is here. Let's see. Yeah, it seems like it's gonna go cold. Let's see. Yeah, it seems just it's gonna cold out. Just no news at all. Where is she? Yeah, I agree, Ashley. Is this case going cold? Could there have been better opportunities at the beginning of this case? I think there were. I mean, I think that there should have been a closed crime scene right away, and a closed off crime scene till day 22 today. So I think there are a lot of missed opportunities. Now we're finding out DNA got mixed in the Florida lab that, Sheriff Chris Nanos decided that, he wanted to play, nope, we're going to send it to my lab down in Florida with this easily. If it was held over or turned over to the FBI immediately, a lot of this miscommunication and these things that are now unsorted in the lab probably wouldn't have happened. If this went to Quantico right away, we might have had some DNA results back much sooner. And now the problem is that we're almost 4 weeks in, just getting up on 4 weeks. And just as much as I do, what is the most pertinent time in an investigation? I mean, there's a show that's named after it, The First 48. So there's been a lot of missteps, and I just still don't understand that there hasn't been more public outrage with the handling of this case through the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I don't get it. I don't understand why there's not more rage at this point. We've heard locals speaking up. We've heard them talk. They're disgusted, but there should be more rage. Rock is in the house. Nice to see you. Look at this. Snow in Virginia already. Heatherlicious is here, channel member and a moderator. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Gene is here. It's so sad. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you as well. Let's see. We're already getting quite a bit of snow here. Again, that damn groundhog ruined everything. See, the thing about the groundhog, it's kind of like a bit because they always say, like, oh, it's gonna be, it's gonna be six more weeks. Well, 6 more weeks would put you where? Just out of the cusp of winter. So it's kind of a shtick, you know. Good evening, upstate New York. Are you getting snow, Karen? Let me know. British Columbia checking in. Nice to see you. Where's everybody from? Connecticut. Yep, we're buckled down just like you. That's great. Quincy girls here. Nice to see you. You being late, actually, because I almost forgot. Yeah, and probably what happened was me being late and then having to bump the stream probably triggered the algorithm. So moving the stream up, that doesn't help because I ran past my time that I was supposed to start. So probably lost a notification today. YouTube tend not to like that. Oh, what's going on here in the Guthrie? Let's check this out. Look at this car pulling up in the Guthrie driveway. Look at this live JLR. Check this out. Oh, please tell me this is just like an onlooker. You've got to be kidding me.
This woman says she has to be here.
Interesting. Let's check this out. Well, I am Tammy. You're not getting any snow in Phoenix right now.
Ma'am, who are you? What's going on?
Yeah.
Do you live here? Do you know anybody that lives here?
What is this? She said that she. All right, hang on here.
Oh, it's a delivery. It's a delivery.
Oh my God.
People didn't know it was a delivery. Okay. Okay, guys, she's asking to stop. I didn't order it. Somebody must have ordered it for me.
Oh boy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You too. Somebody ordered food for her. I had no idea that. And that was a food delivery driver that's actually been happening a lot in the past 3 weeks. So
this is.
Has been saying do not actually deliver food to Nancy Guthrie's house.
Yeah, stop delivering food there. Stop doing this. And I did see the canopy that was gifted to JLR. Get out of that sun. But please stop doing the delivery stuff down there. And here's another weird thing too. I don't know why the family hasn't put a gate, or even the Pima County Sheriff's Department hasn't put a gate down there in the driveway. Just put some cones there. Don't allow people to turn into the driveway. I mean, this is very simple things to keep this. Literally, there should be crime scene tape there. There should be crime scene tape there. If Pima County Sheriff's Department is doing their job correctly, there should be crime scene tape there, right? Should be crime scene tape, and this should be like this from day one. It's getting a little ridiculous with the deliveries, but anyway, I digress. Let's keep an eye on this. I want to get into. All right, hang on a second here. We might have some breaking news coming up. I want to see, but I'm going to keep an eye on the Guthrie home. All right, let's do this. Let's get into. It's like, where's the crime scene tape? Where's the cones to block off the driveway? Why isn't the Pima County Sheriff not out a little bit further in that driveway if they're not going to do any of that, to at least signal people like, hey, can't turn in here. It's private property. Can't pull in here. It's private property. And I get it. She's making delivery. But still, you couldn't pull up and roll the window down with all those people standing there and saying, "Hey, I have delivery here," or is there someone named Paul or whatever? Oliver, thanks for the 5. Says it feels like when they released the scene, the case went cold. I hope it's not reality, but the lack of any genuine answers and no Nancy is telling. Yeah, I think that's how everybody is feeling. Renee is here. She's a channel member. She said, missed you all 4 weeks in the hospital. Ugh. Well, I hope that you're recovering and I hope you're feeling better and hopefully you're home. Let's see. Yeah, Oliver says, do you live in this road? No, please turn around. Let's go here. I'm going to pull up my presentation that I want to get through today. I worked on this afternoon, and let's take a deep dive into what we've seen over the last 22 days. So I'm going to share my screen. Give me a second here. All right. So let's take a look at this. So Nancy Guthrie disappearance update. Okay. Catherine says she has doubts about this case ever being solved. Really? Really? All right. Let's take a look. So we have the Nancy Guthrie case, and I wanted to look at some scenarios that we could throw out there and kind of talk talk about. And I was thinking a few things today of, what are some possible scenarios? And again, this is not anything that's confirmed. This is just, it's possibilities. It's not accusations. And obviously, here, I strictly tend to follow evidence in cases. Rosemary, thanks so much for the $2 super sticker. I appreciate that. So let's take a look at this and let's take a look at some of the possible scenarios. And you in the chat here, let me know what you are thinking. Is one of your scenarios up here on the board? Is one of these scenarios connecting with you right now? Okay, let me know. So we have to look at a targeted abduction. Okay, we know right now that there's unknown male DNA. There's the prior surveillance video that we've seen. Possibly now that they're talking that it could be 2 people or multiple people involved in this, which I tend to agree now. We have a victim that's 84 years old, and it's planned. And obviously, if you're planning, there's going to be some type of vehicle, and that is the biggest thing, is that we need to find out if this was a targeted abduction. What is the vehicle that they are suspecting at this point? Now, we saw earlier in this investigation, probably about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago, that there were persons of interest that were pulled over. And there was also a house that was raided. And, as of right now, those persons of interest have not been cleared. And that to me tells me that there is a possibility that they could still have a strong connection to this case. Okay. They could have a strong connection to this case. So now we look at the ultimate thing here of crime of opportunity. Is this a random encounter, a brief outdoor exposure, quick control and transport? And then what happens when you do that? It's few witnesses involved. And, we obviously know down there with everybody that's been reporting on the ground that the light pollution down there is almost non-existent. And that has a lot to do with there was some complaints about stargazers, and they wanted to cut down a lot of the light pollution down there. And it gets very dark in the desert, especially when you don't have lights like we have here in my my city. There's a lot of street lights and there's a lot of lampposts and a lot of people that are close together in a congested area, and they have their lights on their home. So if I was to go walk outside and look up at the sky, there might be stars or constellations that I can't see. But if I'm down in Arizona, they're going to be clear as day. You're going to be able to see everything. So then we have the known person angle. Is this has trusted access to the home or the property? Is this someone that's in the inner circle? And obviously, investigating that, you would look at, phone and financial records. Is there any money being passed? Is there any, money in the past that is owed? Things like that. Okay. So then we look at the burglary angle. We found. Wait a minute, there wasn't a bloody gloves found. Sorry about that. Um, Isolated home, and then we have the theft turned did a theft turned violent. What I meant to say is, DNA found on the glove. And we have maintenance worker angle. I said this before. This could be someone that was in and around that area, familiar with the property, recently contacted, was in and around that property, knows the neighborhood, always investigated. And then we have public profile targeting. You have to look at Savannah Guthrie. She's highly visible. She's well known. Someone could have looked at her. She could have looked at her at her net worth and targeted this to get money. But there's no public evidence confirming that motive as of right now. And then we have to look at, is this family related? And a lot of people have been saying that. Do they feel that this is family related? Someone that is in the family could have this perceived connection, could have this alleged connection that has perpetrated this crime. So family related, perceived wealth, potential targeting, and outside offender motive we have to look at. All right, let's move on here. So as of right now, I just went too quick on my slide here. Let's look at kind of an updated timeline. So January 31st, 2026, last confirmed night. You have 5:32 p.m. Nancy's dropped off at her Catalina Foothills home after dinner with the family. At 9:50 p.m., the garage door gets closed by the son-in-law. Last confirmed moment at Nancy's home. Early Friday morning, February 1st, 2026, you have suspicious activity. At 1:47 a.m., a masked individual disconnects the door, or tries to disconnect the doorbell camera. You have 2:12 a.m., armed figure captured on surveillance footage, and the 2:28 pacemaker app disconnects from the phone. So now you're at February 1st, 2026. Reported missing, 11 a.m., Nancy fails to arrive at church. At 11:56 a.m., family arrives at home. Phone, person, medication are inside. Absolute dumpster fire, right? At 12:03 p.m., the 911 call is placed, and at 12:15 p.m., Pima County Sheriff responds. At that specific point right there, let's give it 30 minutes of investigating, an hour of investigating. Let's do this. Let's tape off the scene. Let's not let everybody walk through this. You have February 2nd through the 5th, crime scene and federal involvement, home processed as a crime scene. FBI joins investigation. And we heard a lot about the back and forth with the Pima County Sheriff's Department, the FBI involvement. Ransom communications reported. I think at this point right now, TMZ has received five ransom letters, but we don't know if there's any solid connection to that. And a lot of experts are saying that this could just be someone that is, playing a ruse in this investigation, throwing it off. Sheriff publicly outlines early timeline. Then we have February 10th through the 12th, 2026. Persons of interest development, mass suspect images released, and that's the video that we've seen. The backpack is visible in the surveillance footage and now has been identified as an Ozark backpack, but the clothing is still trying to be identified from what I understand. Individual detained near Rio Rico and later released. We had DNA that were found on the gloves. DNA does not match CODIS. We have February 18, 2022, and now we're at day 22. Reward surpasses $200,000, over $20,000. I think it's actually over $30,000 now that I went back and looked. We have the DNA testing is still underway. We just found out that the sheriff described the DNA as mixed, and that was a problem in a process at the Florida lab, that if this would have went off to Quantico, I feel, in my opinion, would have been straightened out pretty damn quick. Barricades restricted near the home. We just saw that in the live shot. No arrest announced as of right now. 22 days later, Nancy Guthrie remains missing. Where is Nancy? So now, yeah, and it was 30,000 tips. I think it's actually like 31,000 from what I was reading today. So you have, obviously, here's our update in Nancy's investigation. Obviously, a missing person. Nancy Guthrie is an 84-year-old woman that has been reported missing since February 1st, 2026 in the Catalina foothills of Arizona. Over 30,000 tips have been submitted to investigators reflecting the public desire to assist in locating Nancy Guthrie. Arrests were made as of day 22, and there have been no arrests made, leading to public frustration and concern about the investigation process, no follow-ups on persons of interest. And that's what I was saying before, that, all the people that have been persons of interest and have been taken in for questioning and processed, have not been publicly cleared because this is an ongoing investigation. And that was the whole thing with Carlos the other night when we were talking about that, he's like, oh, he had his lawyer and he's on TV and he's like, I want to be publicly cleared. I don't want my name out there. Probably not the best thing to go on public TV with your lawyer and say, hey, they haven't cleared me yet. I want to be cleared, and not make this big charade out of it. The reason you haven't been publicly cleared is because there's still an ongoing investigation in this case. They don't tend to just come out and say, yeah, we've publicly cleared all these people until they're done investigating them. And sometimes they don't come out and publicly clear everybody. They just call you and say, hey, we're done with our piece of our investigation here. So moving on. So we have February 1st, the incident details surrounding Nancy Guthrie's abduction. On February 1st, 2026, 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was reported missing following an apparent abduction from a Tucson area home. The doorbell footage, security footage, revealed a masked intruder armed with a semi-automatic weapon, raising serious concerns about the situation. The possibilities raised by law enforcement experts state that multiple suspects could be involved in Nancy's disappearance. It's quite possible. And when I first looked at this, I said, wow, this looks like the work of an amateur. But here we are. We're 22 days out. Okay. We have no solid leads at this point, or no solid leads that have been put out by Pima County Sheriff or the FBI at this point. I mean, I think that they're at a virtual loss. I do. I don't think they know where this investigation stands or where it is at this point. I would have thought that if they had any solid type of information or lead at this point, they would release that to the public. Hey, this is what we're looking for. This is the type of car, vehicle that we're looking for. Has anybody seen, a white Honda Civic, during these specific times, some type of vehicle, some type of person, something. And we haven't heard anything from the FBI. We haven't heard anything from the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Now we have to start to think, is this more elaborate than we think? Could this be a more elaborate scenario than just the amateur guy that we thought came up with his gun and his backpack and mask? And, I was saying that it's probably going to be some guy that's caught around the corner. Is this more elaborate right now? And Eliza is saying that I'm leaning towards it's a professional job. And I'm starting to lean towards that way as well, too. I said it first when I first oh God, look at the amateur. But look, I mean, you're duping the FBI and you're duping the Pima County Sheriff's Department, two law enforcements that have been involved in this case since, the first day. We're at day 22 right now, and there's nothing. I mean, this is leaning pretty cold at this point. Let's see. I am Tammy says they need to swear in Brian Enton. He's done more than that sheriff. And I'll even say this too. Look at the YouTubers and the press that have been down there on the ground. They've reported more and found more things. There was a search today on the ground, and there were multiple items that were found. I think I saw a shirt found at one point. We saw another backpack. And again, I don't know if this is any articles of clothing or articles that are going to lead to anything in this investigation, but it's good to have that stuff because it's in and around surrounding areas. I mean, they found a shirt or a backpack in like a drainage tube today. And that's pretty critical, especially in these type of situations, because that could be anything. It could be an article of clothing that was Nancy's, or it could be the alleged suspect, changed clothes out and threw it on the ground as they were running. I believe there was another black glove that was found today. So all this stuff is important. So then we have the ransom demands. To date, TMZ, I think, has, from what my count is, has received 5 ransom letters, but no connection confirmed by law enforcement to the abduction, leaving many questions unanswered regarding Nancy's fate. Okay, So now we move on here. The DNA questions, uncovering crucial evidence in the investigation process. So unknown DNA, male DNA was reported recovered at the scene, raising critical questions about the possible identity of the intruder. Quote, and this is from Nanos himself, our lab tells us that there were challenges with it. Nano said of the Florida lab his department is using, the technology is moving so fast and it's such a frenzy that they think some of this stuff will resolve itself in the matter of weeks, months, or maybe years. Probably not the things that you want to hear in an abduction case, right? Probably not the things you want to hear in an abduction investigation. And then we have the DNA genealogy. Authorities are utilizing genetic genealogy to identify potential sources of DNA, hoping for a breakthrough in this case. According to reports, one glove appeared to have blood near the wrist and finger area. Yes. The Pima County Sheriff's Department has collected multiple gloves in the area, submitted to them for forensic testing, but officials said earlier DNA results did not produce a match in the Federal Bureau of Investigation database, leading investigators with more questions than answers. Yeah, and that's something too. This could be a potential angle. Was it someone at Nancy's church that is doing this, knowing, the the high profile nature of Savannah? Maybe they're doing this to take some type of advantage, but I don't know. I mean, you would look at a kidnapping for this specific reason. Money, was something owed? Is there something going on behind the scenes that the family is not being up forth and honest about, and maybe they're afraid, or maybe, someone said, if you talk. I mean, I don't know. And that's what's really weird about all of this. But then you have to start looking the angle like, well, if they were, if let's say Savannah was being stalked, she probably might have came up right away and said, hey, I've had this stalker and this person has sent me all these messages and I was getting these, or I was getting these anonymous messages. So it's very strange and it's just very, very weird. I'm trying to connect the dots here, but these are just possibilities. And these are the things that I think about when I look at this case. And time is serious of the essence, and we're losing time. We're losing a lot of time. So we have the search efforts explained. Intensive operations continue to pursue in Nancy Guthrie. We have law enforcement deployment. Hundreds of law enforcement personnel have been assigned to the case, enhancing the search for Nancy Guthrie across various locations. But where's Sheriff Nanos? I've always asked that. Like, where is Sheriff Nanos? Where has he been? He's been behind his desk. I mean, he wasn't even out there on the night that all those persons of interest were obtained. I haven't seen him down in front of the Guthrie house at all. I haven't seen him out for any type of search efforts. All I know is that he's getting ready to, film season 2 of the upcoming reality show about Pima County Sheriff's Department. I don't know. So the search efforts have been expanded towards Mexico as authorities considered all possibility avenues for locating the missing woman and any leads. And I'm going to play Brian Enton went down to the border, I think 2 days ago. We'll play that segment here in a little bit, and we'll talk about that. Community involvement. Community search parties today have organized, determined to find Nancy Guthrie. Pima County has issued warnings to search parties to stay off private properties. So that's they had to throw that leg down on everybody out there, searching. Oliver says Nanos has absolutely zero credibility. He has such a device. He's such a device to Nancy, the case, and to the Pima County. And yeah, I mean, what was it, back last year or 2023? There was a vote of no confidence, and that guy's going to be there, I think, in office for like another 3 or 4 years. So you're stuck with him unless he gets booted. All right, so we have transparency questions, investigative clarity and public communications challenges. Pima County Sheriff's Department says a third-party software glitch caused confusion about Nancy Guthrie's being reported missing on January 31st. The report file timestamped January 31st at 5 p.m. on the video evidence requested link is not related to when she was officially reported missing the next day, authorities request footage from 1/1/26 through 2/2/26. And then we have the Sheriff Nanos. Sheriff's statement referenced a Saturday response which contradicted the actual timeline, leading to public uncertainty. And I just haven't heard anything of public outrage. Like, why are people not pissed about this? Why are people not out there, in protest? I saw one guy out there with a clown suit protesting, but that's about it. And then you have issues with the crime scene access. I've talked about this before. Questions have been raised online regarding the control and crime scene access, adding to the community concerns about transparency. Yeah, closed crime scene. It's a big thing. It does help in these situations. Sheriff Nanos. And I'm asking, is there outrage in the community? And an awesome X account is Chillinois. If you haven't been following her or him, you need to. Very effective and up to date on this case. And I love this tweet. He's not effective. He's a micromanager. Former Chief Deputy Richard, I think it's Cascar Jr. served with Nanos for years. Said the recent comments. He said that this case should have been turned over to the FBI weeks ago, and the sheriff should have followed and supported them. All the evidence should have gone to Quantico from the beginning. He says no one else has a say in this. It's just three men making all the decisions. They aren't sharing. And let's go to that statement. Hang on here. Let me pull this up. And let's hear this. Blasting the sheriff.
Days for the family of Nancy Guthrie and more questions than answers for the public, wondering when she'll be found. Investigators zeroing in on evidence in hopes of finding a suspect. Still, the only key material in this case is this doorbell camera video. Authorities now attempting to parse through more than 10,000 calls made since the mother of Today host Savannah Guthrie was kidnapped. As we reported yesterday, the FBI is now in contact with Mexican authorities. There's no evidence that Guthrie was actually taken across the border, but it's an avenue investigators are exploring now, given the proximity to Tucson. Now, investigators are facing questions about whether they could have done more in the early days of the investigation. And one of the loudest voices coming from the head of the Pima County Sheriff's Deputies Organization, Sergeant Aaron Cross. He has blasted the sheriff's handling of the investigation, calling it an ego case. In an interview with the New York Post,
and they should,
the sheriff still defends his handling of this situation. Sergeant Aaron Cross joins me now. Aaron, good to see you.
Good to be with you, man.
You've been pretty critical of your own sheriff, including, this case as well. What's he getting wrong? What did he get wrong? What could he have done better?
Well, at this point, a lot of the questions being raised with my members are whether or not that we should hand this off to the FBI and move into a supportive role to assist them. The FBI has an incredible amount of resources, personnel, funding that they can draw from to try and find Nancy and hopefully bring her home safely to her family.
So you think from the very beginning, I mean, that weekend that they realized that she was gone, the FBI should have immediately jumped in and taken over?
I think once this moved from a search posture to a possible kidnapping, the FBI, they're the premier agency in the world to deal with kidnappings. And that's something that our medium-sized law enforcement agency probably just doesn't have the experience to handle. We have 96 detectives, and they're very hardworking detectives, and they've been putting in very long hours each week since she's been missing. But I think the FBI's expertise is something that we should take advantage of more.
So Sheriff Nanos has also been pretty critical of you, saying that you and others don't have a clue what this investigation has entailed. Your response to that?
That's true. We don't know what's being discussed inside the homicide unit that's running primary on this. They've kept a lot of discipline to keep information from getting out. They've been doing a very good job about that. But I think even the public has questions about things that they've been able to see. Us turning over the scene, The next day, Sheriff Nanos himself at first admitted that they probably released the scene too early. These types of things undermine public trust. And that's not something that you want to do as a law enforcement agency
Yeah.
in the middle of what is one of the highest profile cases we've ever had in this agency.
Quickly, do you think that she can come home alive?
We pray. This is unprecedented to my knowledge in American history, to bring someone home that's been missing this long, who's ostensibly held for ransom. So we're working hard, I can assure the public.
Sergeant Aaron Cross, appreciate your time today.
All right. Let's go back to the presentation. Again, welcoming everybody. Make sure to smash that like button. I would appreciate it. And we'll go back to my presentation. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Regina. We've talked about this over and over and over again. And I don't know if you just came in, but if you did, smash that like button. I would appreciate it. Let's see. Oliver says, to play devil's advocate, maybe the people of Tucson just truly don't know how bad Nanos actually is, and they're accustomed to his level of policing. This is a very fair point, too. I don't know why else they wouldn't be outraged. This is a good, fair point. Absolutely good for point. Maybe it's just like, oh, well, Nanos has got it under control. He's had stuff like this, in the past and handled these big cases and blah, blah, blah. And that could be true. That could be true. All right, moving on here. More criticisms of Nanos. And let's see. I'm going to read on this screen here so I can see what I'm doing. Let's see. Nanos tells Savannah Guthrie's network, NBC, there are no games his team is looking into, and there's a snag with the mixed DNA at the Florida lab he's using. Pima County Sheriff Nanos must resign. The handling of Nancy Guthrie's investigation is hands down a failure. Let's see. Michael Ruiz, great account that I've been following, an X that's been reporting on this at Mike's Reports, says, new tonight, Sheriff Nanos tells Savannah Guthrie's network, NBC, that there's no names his team is looking into, and there's a snag with the mixed DNA at the Florida lab he's using. This runs counter to the statements from local businesses about how they've been shown a list of names and images by the FBI. Remember that. What was it? 40 photos that were taken around to local gun shops in potential places that sell ammunition, and asked about, has anybody come in that looks like this, has bought a weapon or ammunition? Goes on to say, it's also unclear that the DNA recovered inside has been useful for the investigation. He said in tonight's interview recorded yesterday that the lab he's using is having trouble isolating the mixed DNA samples. Well, that's nice, right? Maybe if this probably was handed over to Quantico weeks ago, we'd be further in this investigation. Chris Nanos, you need to put your ego down, buddy. This is a matter of time right now, and we've lost a lot of it in this case. Almost 4 weeks in. Just past the 3 week, getting into the 3 week mark here. It's getting pretty close to 4 weeks. We have another one about the A&E reality show here. Weird. The Pima County Sheriff's Department has its own reality show on A&E called Desert Law. Is the Nancy Guthrie disappearance kidnapping just being looked at as a content for this shitty TV show? No wonder Chris Nanos insists on controlling the investigation. And we have the sheriff in the headline from the Hollywood Reporter says the sheriff's office in Nancy Guthrie case has its own reality show on A&E. Sheriff Chris Nanos doesn't appear on camera for Desert Law, but coordinates in the production company behind the series. You have Stella Job says Sheriff Chris Nanos' blast for locking down Nancy Guthrie's investigation highly unusual. I know one thing. If it was my mother missing, I would want the FBI handling it with thousands of personnel instead of 3 local officers that have made numerous mistakes in this case. I love that tweet. That's a great tweet. And then you have Sheriff Nanos. I love this from Jared Moreau. Says Chris Nanos looks like every sheriff who turned out to be the real bad guy in Scooby-Doo. And look at that face. It's absolutely true. When they pull the mask, they pull the mask off at the end and they can reveal, it always looks similar to this guy right here. We knew it all along. It was the sheriff, right? We knew it all along. It was the sheriff. All right. Moving ahead, we've heard the cartel theory in Wild today. You see what's going on in Mexico. El Mencho, a large overlord, drug lord, cartel leader, was killed in Mexico today, and it's like a war zone down there. And again, I did a live stream about that earlier today. Check that out. And I'm continuing to monitor that situation as well. Hang on one second. I just want to look at some of the live feeds here, see if there's anything going on. All right, nothing going on. So possible involvement. Again, this is another angle that people have put out there. Possible involvement. Private investigators and law enforcement experts have suggested that cartel connections may be influencing the investigation into Nancy Guthrie disappearance. Surveillance footage. Authorities are currently reviewing surveillance footage along the Mexican border to gather more information regarding the masked intruder and possible leads. But at this point right now, oh, dude, it's all over the place today. Celtics mom says, I don't believe Nancy's in Mexico. But, you know, that's the possibility too. And we're going to watch Brian Enton here in a minute. Brian Enton went down to the Mexico border the other day, and I was absolutely shocked how easy it was for him to get in and get out. And that makes it, you know, a lot easier to get people in and out from the border. And they have no suspects as of right now. There are no named suspect that have been publicly identified, leaving the investigation open to various possibilities and theories. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Very quick, very pop up. Had to get some news out there for you all. All right, moving along. Family response. The family involvement reactions to the investigation. DNA testing. The family has been cleared through DNA testing, ensured the investigation could focus on external leads and suspects. Cooperative efforts. Family members have been reported as cooperative with investigators, providing assistance and information relevant to the ongoing case and search efforts. And then we have collaborative efforts. As of February 17, 2026, the Pima County Sheriff's Office has confirmed that all members of the Guthrie family, including spouses and siblings, have been officially cleared as suspects in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Sheriff Chris Nanos emphasizes that the family has been cooperative and are considered victims. Okay. I mean, to me, it's still an angle that you have to look at in this case. I can't. I mean, what did you do? Did you do the old, like, where were you that night? Or are you looking into electronic devices? Are you looking into, any possibilities of areas that they were in? Is that how you're clearing the family? I mean, I don't want to take anybody's word in all of this right now that I was at the next door neighbor's house eating spaghetti, playing bridge. We had a chess game. We're playing checkers. This still needs to be deeply investigated. And I just don't want it to be that easy to just clear a whole bunch of people that had close connections to Nancy and just say, yeah, okay. You're no longer a person of interest. Sure, you're over, at your bridge club. Like, it just, to me, it just doesn't, it doesn't work that way. Still needs to be deeper investigations. We have the media coverage contrasting national narratives with local information gaps. And this was the guy that was talking about the other day. He was seen out there on February 12th. Sheriff Nanos, from one clown to another, resigned. So it is nice to see that there are some people out there calling for the resignation, some locals out there calling for the resignation. So we have the national attention. The case has garnered significant national media, yet local updates remain scarce and often lack clarity or details, or a lot of mixed details in this case, right? Are we getting any straight answers? And I talked about this too. And Mary saying, I think he could do pressers, even if it's just to say they're working on leads and doing all that they can to go over info they already gave, appealing for tips and etc. Right. Why? I mean, you're 3 freaking weeks out in this investigation. There's tons of mixed reports out there. The public is not getting the straight fact information. Why not get up at the podium at this point and say, look, this is where we're at in this investigation. Let's quell some of the rumors that are getting put out there. Let's set the record straight. Instead of you sitting behind your desk, Sheriff Nanos, right? Let's get out there in front of a podium. Let's get a representative from the FBI, and let's hear the two collaborate here and say, this is where we're at. Not all people that we've taken into questioning are cleared as suspects. We're still investigating. We've identified the backpack, but are looking into the clothing. The DNA on the glove is XYZ. Yes, there were mixed results, but we're doing this to clear that up. Give the public some kind of hope here, right? Give some public some type of hope. There's a lot of people down there on the ground right now that care about this case. There are a lot of people that are covering this on their channels. The mainstream media is out there. There are a lot of YouTubers out there doing a great job expressing their First Amendment right to be down there and report on this story. This is what this story needs. Tons of coverage. There are people that went on the ground today and searched today and found many items of possible interest. And wouldn't that be a phenomenal thing if one of those items have a match in this case? A backpack, a piece of clothing, another glove was found today. What do you think? Right? Wouldn't that be something? So we have the criticism of leadership. Online discussion revealed growing criticism of the state leadership, Chris Nanos, and many questions. And the representative, and I'm going to get to her, I think it's Alma Hernandez, has spoken out down there in the community. I'm going to get to her today. Representative, Alma Hernandez said that Nancy Guthrie's bloggers should go home. Well, you know what? You should be proud that there are people that have taken an interest to go down there and stand there with their phones and create a media outlet for people to get real-time coverage on this case. Because I'm going to tell you something, Ms. Hernandez, that when the mainstream media decides to wrap this up, and I'm feeling it, it's coming very close, that the only people down there, the bloggers and YouTubers, are going to be the ones that continue the coverage in this case. And much kudos to JLR for being down on the ground down there and streaming this for the last 22 days. You know, Dolly Vision's been down there. There's been other people that have been down there streaming this in real time. And that opens up transparency about this case. It gives you a signal of what the police activity is going on and some investigation in real time. The FBI shows back up at another location. JLR's been out there for all of that, caught all that on his stream, giving real-time coverage, and he has every single right to be down there and report like he has. Because I'm going to tell you, when the big bosses in the mainstream media network say, hey, pack it up, send the tent, let's go home, you're going to have to rely on those local people down there, the bloggers and YouTubers, right? So calls for the FBI, public state sentiment increases, leans towards demands for the FBI, more active involvement, urging through investigation into the ongoing case. All right, let's get to Representative Alma Hernandez. And I love this too, with her little parentheses around her name. Like it's got stand at me, me, look at me. I love this shit. To get that attention, the me attention. Let me get this really quick. Employee of the month. Thanks for the 5. Appreciate your super chat. Says, I'll have to go back and watch your cartel coverage. My daughter was volunteering in MX, just left today, thankfully. Wow. Well, hopefully she get out safe and sound. Oliver says, $5. Thank you so much. It's a bad look on Pima County and on Arizona for them to be hostile to the press. It gives the impression they don't want coverage and don't like accountability. And I agree on that. Let me just do a quick refresh here. Hang on. Just so that other tile will come up. Sometimes we got to refresh. Are you all enjoying this presentation so far? If you are, drop a 1 in the chat. Let me know. Are you enjoying this presentation I put together? I like doing the presentations. All right, let's do this. Let's share again. Okay, so we have Alma Hernandez. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. Just Jules. We'll pause here for a second before we get back into this. Just Jules, 100%. People can say what they want about JLR as a person, but thank God there's YouTubers like JLR. They're live streaming continuously for 22 days because he's seen so much of the reality due to it. And I'll be honest with you. Listen, I extensively covered the Karen Reed case. I was down there the day that he showed up and he was screaming at Karen. And listen, I understand he probably ran in there to try to get a viral moment. You know, this shit happens. People do some of this shit for clicks and views. Did I approve of it? No. Didn't approve of it. Okay? People can do some shitty things sometimes, but people can also do some things that are redeeming qualities, like being down there and spending time. Okay? We can move past stuff like that, you know? But, you know, look, he's been down there, he's been streaming, he's been doing his thing. And that's it. I mean, he's down there. Chloe says, I think we're being lied to. The last thing Nanos wants is accountability. Appreciate all the ones. I like the organized deck. Thank you. All right, so we have the media coverage, and I love this. And we're going to hear a quote here. I'm going to pull up some of her video interviews that she had. So Rep Hernandez says, and this is what's crazy. You would think if she, you know, how about this? And another desktop warrior. Okay, she's complaining about people being in her county, people being down there, the YouTubers and the bloggers. How about this? I haven't seen you out in front of the Guthrie house, and maybe she has, and maybe someone can, you know, correct me here. But have we seen her out in front of the Guthrie house being concerned, showing concern for a person in her community that's high profile? Has she been out front of the Guthrie house? You know? And she's going to back out and say, hey, look, I'm not law enforcement. This doesn't come down to me. You know, bullshit. You know, you want to scream about people being out there and you want the legacy media there, but you don't want any local coverage because you want this case covered in a certain way. That's why. And what we're getting with real-time events now and what we're getting with real-time coverage is this. You're getting the straight facts and the truth. It's not going through a filter. And that's what you're pissed about because you're seeing real-time. You know, what's JL streaming like what, 12 hours, 16 hours a day down there? That's what you're getting. Unfiltered thoughts, unfiltered coverage, not something that's taped and recorded and played back. Right. Oliver has a good point. Says, why would you use your official position to advocate for something opposed of Nancy being found? Exactly. So let's see this. Rep Hernandez, as someone who lives and represents Tucson, Pima County, I'm sick of watching the reporting, grifting, insane speculation, lies, and BS by random wannabe journalists and YouTubers who have now caused more harm than good this entire situation and put this serious case in jeopardy. How about this? How about you go knock on the fucking sheriff's door and ask him why he's not doing more? How about you ask him, how can you send this to a lab and say that you feel confident and you're going to go over and not work with the FBI at that point? And now we have issue with DNA samples that could be mixed. How about if you don't go down? How about you go down there and ask Sheriff Nanos, why is the crime scene not corded off from the public? Why was there no yellow crime scene tape? And we're still here in day 22. And you fucking think that they would get it with all the people that have been calling this out? At least go out there and put some stakes in the ground, some friggin' instead of just cording off where you want people to drive, you might have got a point by now to say, hey, probably want to go out there and put some yellow crime scene tape out. It might be a good look that we got this under control, right? So it says, stop following them during SWAT operations and playing detectives. I'm so sick of the constant lies from those who can't even spell Tucson and clearly have never been to our city. Well, how about this? I guarantee you a lot of legacy media and mainstream media people that have been down there probably haven't been to Tucson as much either. Okay. And thankfully that people are there, because when the mainstream media, and I just said this a couple of minutes ago, decide to pack up and leave, The only ones that are probably going to be down there are the local YouTubers and bloggers that you don't want talking about this case, okay, under the freedom of speech and the First Amendment, that they're the ones that are going to continue the coverage and put pressure on the local law enforcement down there. And that's really what this is about. And keep the public aware, the public eye on this case, because you want it to go away. Because you know why? You know Nano's fucked up. And that's just my opinion. So let's go here. The home is not near downtown or midtown, so posting random videos of people walking in yards ain't it, y'all. No, Mexicans don't look all the same. Yes, our sheriff should probably stay off social media and not speak to the press anymore. That's the real problem here. That's what she's pissed about, because it's making her county look bad. Because you know why? This guy ain't got it under control. This guy ain't got it under control. That's what's going on. Mimi, and I guarantee you Brian Enton will be there, because he's locked in and he's locked in and he's done some fabulous reporting down there. Fortunately, Brian Enton's mentioned a few days ago that he had no intention of leaving anytime soon. Awesome. And I don't see JLR leaving either. I think he's going to be there for quite a while. So it says, yes, this is sad and we all want Nancy home, but seriously, please stop. Go home. Hashtag Nancy Guthrie. Okay, sure. I think you're just embarrassed that your sheriff ain't getting it done and fucked this up from the beginning and should have worked with the FBI. And I'm telling you, a report doesn't just come from somewhere and someone makes something up. I think there was a lot of tension between the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI when this investigation started. When the FBI came knocking, said, hey, we're here to come in and help and intervene and take over some of this part of this investigation, or take it over and fully. That's when the tension happened between the Pima County Sheriff's Department. That's when Nano says, oh no, tighten his belt, tighten his bootstraps, and said, how dare they come into my county and take over? Because we heard about it. What, 2015, 2016, being investigated for misappropriating funds by the FBI. That guy had a big fucking chip on his shoulder since then. That's what this is about. So now we have a response. Oh, wait, with all due respect, maybe do some research before blaming me on how investigations should be handled. I'm not a city official. I'm not a county official. I don't run the department of the task force. I'm not a law enforcement agent. I love the backing up now. Jurisdiction is a thing. Look it up. I've been crystal clear. I don't think this has been handled well, and I am not. And I have not been a supporter of the sheriff, which again, y'all would know if you took the time to look. It's really not that hard. I've been see the backpedaling now because she's been called out a lot online on X. People are just coming at her. I've been crystal clear that this is not my issue, and the people covering this responsibly, nor is the coverage of Miss Guthrie reporting facts and stirring up conspiracies like they are two very different hobbies. But this is fascinating. Truly, some of you are outraged that I called out the nonsense that you're about and actually nonsense being spread. This misinformation, fine. The conspiracy theories, no problem. Me saying, hey, it's irresponsible. Suddenly, I'm the villain. She's the victim now. She's the victim now. I love it because you made a statement. People came at you. You didn't like it. So now you're going to play victim. That's what this is. If accountability feels like an attack, it's probably something to unpack. But if you're looking for an apology or me to thank those who are spreading their nonsense, you will not get that. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Nanos was already under FBI investigation for misappropriating funds. Yeah, I think 2015 or 16, right? 2015 or 16. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. Hang on a second here. Just getting a breather and setting a goal. Let's set a goal. I like goals. Maybe we can achieve the goal. Can we achieve the super chat goal? I should have started it earlier, right? Let's start one now. Right? All right. Did she shut her comments off, Brian? I don't know. I don't know. But let's go. And then she was getting poked at a little bit more here. Zach Peter is a comedian, has been kind of following this case as well. Kind of came back. I'm not going to read through all her tweet, but I want to read some of his response. As representative, with all due respect, if you want to talk about responsibility, you should go take some for this disastrous investigation. Streamers are doing nothing that the media hasn't done for decades, covering the story in real time, and that is fact. Fear, you're not upset with them, but more upset that the fact that they are exposing the sheer incompetence of the Pima County Sheriff and his search efforts. Fact. Okay, we just talked about this. Fact. I get it. If I were your position, I would too. Probably want people to stop talking about what a disaster this is, all under your watch too. And that is the thing. She came out, she said some stuff, she didn't like the response, and then she wanted to play victim. She's going to backpedal. I'm not this. I'm not a law enforcement agent. I'm not an official. I'm not that. Exactly, Jeremy. Spitting facts. Love it. Love the response. I love this. Okay, moving on. So current investigative status. We have update ongoing efforts in case developments, active investigation. The investigation of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance remains active and ongoing, with law enforcement dedicating and pursuing all leads. We have the genetic genealogy techniques are currently being utilized to analyze recovering DNA, potentially aiding to the identifying suspects or sources. Then we have the tips reviewed, more than 30,000. I think it's 31,000 now. Tips have been reviewed, investigated, highlighting the public's engagement and complexity of this case. It's baffling. I'm confused. So, excuse me. What answers remain? The public deserves clarity and accountability in investigation. And, oh, okay. Let me go to, I'm going to look at this. All right. That's my last slide. Let's do this. Let's go listen to Alma, what she had to say. I'm looking at the live feed. Not much going on. Iran conversations going on. Let's go to, let's see. Let's go to Representative Alma Hernandez. Let's see what she had to say about it, about the bloggers and YouTubers.
Arizona lawmakers
People.
throwing in her 2 cents on the Nancy Guthrie case, telling streamers on the scene to go home.
13 News reporter Catherine Patterson is
Great.
at Nancy Guthrie's
Don't
Foothills
continue your
home,
coverage.
where media of all kinds have been parked outside for more than 2 weeks now.
Here at Nancy Guthrie's house, you have international affiliates, national affiliates, and our local stations here covering the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. But also among the media circus are streamers that one lawmaker says needs to pack it up.
Arizona State Representative Alma Hernandez is tired of seeing streamers walking with their phone cameras near the home of Nancy Guthrie.
We can't just have individuals going rogue and making things up and call that journalism. It's not.
She took to X on Saturday, telling those streamers to please go home and let law enforcement do their jobs. Conspiracies have popped up online as we all wait for updates from.
I mean, truthfully honest with you, all the coverage that I've watched, and let's just generally sense this into like JLR, all he's really done is ask questions. I haven't heard him put any conspiracy theories out. I don't know. Maybe someone can correct me in the chat. Maybe he has, but I haven't heard them. He's just asked questions. Could it be this? Could it be that? Let's go look at the back. Let's go find the backpack in Walmart and buy that. You know, that's all I've really heard down there. I think a lot of the online speculation has been through X, you know, and you're going to get that. Listen, you're going to get public conversation about these cases. That's what we do now because it holds public interest. You know, I think it's by human nature. Those are things that we like to do. It's our curious mind solving a mystery. You know, why do you think mystery movies and crime movies do so well in the theaters when they come out? People are interested in that. People are interested using their curious mind. I think it's just human nature that we have that inside of us. You know, that intuition that's just built into our DNA. We're curious creatures by nature, and thank God that we are. Because look at all the amazing things that have ever been invented just through this here, the human mind. Or look at all the, I mean, look at what is a detective? A detective is someone that has a curious nature. Because what do? They detect, they go around, they follow clues, they ask questions, they interview witnesses, they gather evidence. That is called the curious mind. That is the curious mind. And thank God we have that. And thank God that we have, things in our world called law enforcement, people that are experts in these areas and put these types of things together. Look, I think Pima County has to step it up a lot more. I think the FBI should have a lot more involvement in this case. But thank God that we're curious creatures by nature. All right, let's get back to what Alma had this.
Law enforcement, some that have now been disproven, and Hernandez says was fueled by those online platforms.
Saying that the sister had something to do with this, saying that the sister's husband, and all of these different conspiracies. Just because the sheriff hasn't told us that they were clear doesn't mean you go and make these things up.
Because I think that's the first initial thing that people go to in situations like this, especially when you're not getting a lot of public information out there about what's going on in the case. What do people turn to? Well, we got to look into the family. I mean, for Christ's sakes, the lady was taken from her house in the middle of the night by someone that had a fucking ski mask on and a gun, kind of derpingly placed in their holster in the front of their pants. I mean, to me, I'd go, all right, this is probably some friend or family member that's trying to extort money, right? I mean, I think that's our curious mind going to that theory right away. So I think that's probably what happened in the situation. And we have every single right to have that public discourse and talk about these things and have our theories. And so what? It's okay to have someone that's trained in this and has a degree to speculate, but if I go out there and speculate, I'm a bad person. That's basically what she's saying. So if the expert that's in law enforcement has the degree and has 20 years of service and say, hey, I think it could be this, and this is only alleged, but if I allege something and put it out there, I'm wrong. They're right, I'm wrong, right? All right, let's play here.
But some of the 24/7 independent streamers say they play a different role than the traditional reporter.
But it's a whole bunch of caring people that all want their community safer.
Damian Enderly has been running 857 Tucson for 2 years. He says his platform is a place for everyday people to share ideas for what they think is happening.
The sleuths, they call them, the sleuths. And you can't really stop people in that community because they are really strong. It's just the evolution of the internet and where it's going to be going in the future.
But with no ethical code to follow, it's a future one lawmaker wants to keep from happening.
It's just irresponsible, and it needs to be called out because that will continue to happen if we're not speaking up and saying that that's wrong.
Some of these streamers have also been called out directly by deputies for trespassing onto Nancy Guthrie's property.
Really?
Reporting in the Catalina foothills, Catherine Pat.
I didn't see that at all. I didn't see that at all. So we got that. Alma. Okay, Alma. All right, Alma. I think I had another clip here. Let's see. Let's go to Brian Enton and get the latest. And then I want to look at the Nest Cam video again. I want to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to give you a theory about maybe a possibility. And then let's look at when Brian Enton went down to the Mexican border the other day. And I want to play some of that video as well, too. But let's get the latest. Brian Enton was on News Nation just a couple of hours ago, and this is what he had to say.
What do you know? Let's start here. What do you know about this report of a bloody glove that was found near Nancy's home?
Yeah, so there is a local media outlet reporting that there was a black glove found about a mile from Nancy's home, that it had some blood on it, that the people who found the glove, I guess, had a hard time getting authorities to take it seriously, to even come pick it up. But eventually it seems like it was picked up. I'll tell you, Jesse, though, I mean, there are so many black gloves around here. I mean, I've lost count of how many people have found or seen a black glove in this neighborhood, in this part of Tucson. Everybody's sort of on the lookout for black gloves now. So
It's wild.
personally, I'm not putting much weight in. There's just gloves everywhere, it seems like at this point. So I don't know. We'll see. It didn't look, I couldn't tell exactly that it was blood in the picture that I saw, but we'll have to wait and see.
And I just have to temper this one more time. The glove that they found, that they put in the DNA they put into CODIS, there was something about that glove they thought stood out. The one that was nearly 2 miles away. I know they're doing genetic genealogy testing on it, waiting for the results back. I hope it proves something, but it could be very well not even connected to this case whatsoever. I hate to say it, but that could be the truth. Okay, let's talk about this idea that there could be more than one suspect. Where did that come from?
So that theory has been floating around for a while, because you think about it and it just makes sense. I mean, could one person have really pulled this off alone? Was there a getaway driver? Was there someone who ran around the backside of the house? You know, all sorts of experts who have been analyzing this case since the beginning have brought that up. But what's interesting, Jesse, is today in this official release from the sheriff's office, the official update, they give us one every day. They very clearly said that investigators are not ruling out the possibility of additional suspects, which I just thought was interesting that they are now putting that out officially. And the sheriff has said that in the past, but just seeing it in black and white today makes me wonder if maybe there's some new information that's come in that they think for sure there's more than one person involved.
I find it fascinating what they'll confirm and not confirm. Like, they still haven't confirmed if there was forced entry at the Guthrie home, right? I mean, you went right up to the front porch. Any reason why they haven't confirmed that? Maybe they haven't, I missed it. And what did you see when you went to the front porch?
Or how about this? Why haven't we heard anything about the blood that was outside the house? Why has that not been tested? Why haven't we heard and said, like, hey, this is Nancy's blood? Or, hey, this is an unknown DNA that we don't know about that we're processing. Has anybody heard anything about that? Remember Brian Ensign went right up to the front door and there were fucking blood spots on the front of the ground in front of the house? Has anybody heard anything about that? Seriously, am I missing something here with that? Have we heard anything about that? Let me know in the chat. Have you heard anything about that? They said it's Nancy's blood. Okay, had they confirmed that though? Through DNA? How do they know that? Okay, they tested it. Okay. All right. So I listen, I come corrected. I missed that. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Because I was like getting like up in arms about that shit. I'm like, have we heard anything about that? And it was just really weird that they even allowed Brian Ensign to walk up to the front door, right? There's no crime scene tape. Just walk up. And I'm not shitting on Brian, but I'm just saying multiple people have been walking up on that property and delivering pizza. They're delivering Amazon packages. Like, what is going on? Thank you. It could be mixed blood. Okay. Again, you know, like how do we get solid information in this case? All right, let's get back to the video. Thanks for clarifying that for me.
Yeah, they definitely have not.
I'm not
perfect.
perfect.
Because initially
I do
there
miss
were
things.
reports, and this is way early on in the first couple days I was here, that there was forced entry. And I remember the sheriff shot that down and said, I don't know where that's coming from. We're not going to confirm that. It appears that the suspect likely didn't go in the front door, but came out the front door. So we don't know.
Perfect. Thank you,
if
Mimi.
they had to break it, or whoever it is had to break in through the back, or if maybe there was a door that was left open. We still
There's the
don't
blood
know.
right there.
That is
See?
one of the things that the sheriff will not comment on, and there really haven't been any leaks on that front. What we saw, though, is you're looking at the video now. That's what
I mean, to me, if that's Nancy's blood, it's probably not good. It's probably not good. There's an injury that happened in somewhere. The head, the face, the neck, something. It's not good.
what we saw when we were able to go to the front door. That's when we saw the blood out there. And, you know, there was like, you remember in the video where you could see the suspect putting like the leaves and the shrubbery up against the camera. You could see where he threw that on the ground. That's still there.
And there was always the possibility.
Yeah,
did
right.
Nancy come out? You know, I mean, we still have so many, not a lot of details about it. I thought the part about the Mexican authorities kind of downplaying that she went there, you know, on one hand, following this case, you'd be like, yeah, it makes sense. Why would someone take her to Mexico? That seems strange. But on the other hand, you did an excellent report yesterday where you went there. You explained how easy it would be to transport somebody there, how easy it would be to get the medications that she would need to survive at a Mexican pharmacy. What
We're
were
going to
your
watch a
thoughts
little
on
bit of
that
that in a
today,
second.
and why they completely shut it down? I mean, I don't know if you're hearing from authorities in the United States that despite that they're still interested in it, but it seems like a big blow.
Facts.
Well, it seems like it would be impossible to fully shut it down just because if you go south from here, you hit Mexico quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, so how can you totally, unless they know for sure that she wasn't taken there, but they don't. They've said there's no evidence she was taken there, and there's no evidence she wasn't taken there. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I don't know if it's more of a PR thing. I mean, it seems like the Mexicans were quick to just be like, no, we don't have anything to do with it. We have no evidence that she's here. But from what I'm hearing behind the scenes, the FBI is still in communication with them. They have a pretty good, there's actually an FBI office in Mexico.
Awesome.
So what I'm told is they have
Make sure to subscribe, please. Half and Fun. I appreciate you being here. I really do. We really try to break a lot of this down in real time as these cases go on. But thank you for being here. Listen, everybody, welcome Half and Fun. They're new here, and they're from Ottawa, Canada. So I want to see that in the chat, please. Let's see. Cleopatra says, dude, Mexico is crazy right now with the death of some drug lord. It's so dangerous. Yeah, Cleopatra, I did a breaking news around 3 o'clock this afternoon, and I talked about that. I got a stream. You can check it out after this one completes tonight. It'll give you some information of when that first broke off. Okay, let's go here. Oh, look at this. We have a lot of new people here today.
The
Awesome.
Mexicans are
Make sure to
very good at
subscribe.
investigating kidnappings. So we'll just have to see where it goes.
And the DNA, I mentioned it before, it has to go genetic genealogy. They have to put it into a public database. They compare that, obviously, with other information they're getting in the case. Have you heard anything about the status of that?
No, and there was in the update today, they officially said that that's ongoing, and my gut is that that's going to take some time. That's what I've been told by everyone who in the know on that and who has done it in the past on other cases. It doesn't usually just take days. It usually takes weeks. Sometimes it takes months. It just depends whoever this suspect is, and if that is the right DNA, whether they have extended family members in some of these databases. And we're just going to have to wait and see.
And
thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download.
I want to see something here. I want to look something up. Okay. So I'm looking at Koberger, and Koberger DNA came back in about a month and a half. Right? Koberger DNA came back in about a month and a half. It says November 13th, murders 2022. And they had suspects' DNA or father's matched DNA on December 30th, 2022. So it was about a month and a half, 40. Yeah, Robert Little has 42 days. I see that in the chat. Thank you. It's about a month and a half. And we're 22 days in right now. So I really don't want to wait another 20 days to get a DNA match or some potential DNA match, right? Because time is of the essence in these cases. We know that for fact. Let's do this. And shout out, by the way, to the ground crew that was down there today searching, out there, donating their time, searching for Nancy. I praise all those people. If anybody, let's do this. Let's go live to News Nation right now. They're live. I want to see what they're talking about. Here we go. Live News Nation.
Do it. Don't be so worried. There are ways you could do this. Be protected.
I'm going to do that,
and,
Karen. Yes.
Keep yourself from being in legal harm.
Tracy, tell us more about this. What is he describing here, and what are your thoughts? Do you agree that there are people out there who know something about what happened to Nancy and that they should be given some sort of immunity to come forward?
Well, I'm going to answer the last part first. I think there absolutely are people out there that clearly know what happened. I don't think this crime took place in a vacuum, if you will. I don't think that this person is the only person, this person that we saw on the camera was the only person involved in this crime. I think in terms of offering a queen for a day, well, we first need to know what this what information this individual may have. Law enforcement isn't just going to come to the table and say, sure, no prosecution at all. We're not going to go ahead and charge you with anything. Okay, now tell us what you think. That's not going to happen, and nor should that ever happen. I've never done anything like that before.
Yeah, Randolph, we have about 20 seconds, and I just want to get your take quickly. How does that work? If one knows something, he said lawyer up and contact law enforcement. Literally, how does this work?
But we do this often with clients when we have sort of a proper session and we say, look, there's information. Maybe the lawyer is going to say there's information that this person has. We need some sort of general protections that they're not going to be charged with sort of the top count. But there's always a possibility they could be charged with something less. And if they don't tell the truth, that could be a big problem, too.
All right. More complex, as always, than it seems on its face. Randolph Rice, Tracy Walder, really appreciate you both. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, still to come. President Trump putting the Supreme Court.
Okay, let's go to Brian Enton. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, I'm going to play that video right now. I want to watch Brian Enton's Mexico visit, and then at the end has the profiler on there, the canine expert as well too. And I think it's in this video. I could be wrong. I could be right. But let's play this. Watch a little bit of this. Entering Mexico border. He even said just before this, he said, I didn't bring my passport. Now, what I got a lot from this, watching this, and when they talked to the locals there, I felt a lot of don't ask, don't tell mentality going on. I'm sure it's pretty much like that in places like this sometimes, especially when you're going down there and asking about kidnappings and people being abducted over the border. You know what I mean? I just don't think people want to comment on things like that, and rightfully so. It is media. They're being put out on worldwide TV. They probably don't want their face being shown, but we'll listen a little bit here. Heat it up a little bit.
¿Ha escuchado usted el caso de la señora Nancy Guthrie que la secuestraron o está perdida en Tucson?
This is the picture here.
Ella es la señora, ella es la conductora y es su mamá. ¿No ha escuchado nada?
No. Has he ever heard of it?
No.
Never heard of it?
Nunca he escuchado nada.
No.
Las autoridades americanas están hablando con las autoridades mexicanas. I'm asking is about the case specifically, if they know something about Nancy's experience. But also the way that I'm involving them is like asking what they think about the U.S. government asking help to the Mexican
And what did he
government.
say?
He said that he's not aware of the case of Nancy's. Buenos días. Una preguntita. Somos de un canal de noticias en el otro lado. Estamos haciendo un reportaje acá en México preguntando sobre la desaparición de la señora. ¿Has escuchado algo de este caso?
No, la verdad.
¿No has escuchado? Es la mamá de una conductora de una cadena de televisión. Vive en Tucson.
So what did she say?
She haven't heard about the case, but she said that things like that can happen, that it's a sad situation, and suddenly it's like we're so close to the border again that can happen.
But she heard nothing about it.
But she don't know nothing about the case at all.
Okay.
Todo ese tiempo, somos de una cadena de noticias del otro lado. Americana, el compañero no habla español, lo voy a ayudar a traducir. ¿Ha escuchado usted el caso de la señora Nancy Guthrie, que es mamá de una presentadora de noticias allá en Estados Unidos, que está desaparecida?
No.
¿No ha escuchado nada?
Nada.
So what did she say?
She said she's not aware of the case and that she does not know any other cases of people being brought here to Mexican side from the American side. Una de noticias del americano que estamos trabajando. Hay una señora. You have the picture?
Yes, yeah, I have the picture.
Ahí está la mamá de una presentadora de noticias de la cadena. Ella es la mamá. Ella es la presentadora de la cadena de NBC. La mamá vive en Tucson y está desaparecida. Están pidiendo la ayuda. ¿Has escuchado de algún caso de gente que hayan traído de allá de Estados Unidos para acá? No has escuchado nada.
What did he say?
He said that he hasn't heard about the case yet. He don't think it's possible. It's kind of hard to bring people to the Mexican side.
Why do they? He's the second one who said it was hard, but when we walked in, it was easy. What do they mean by that?
Sí, es cierto. Regularmente cuando vienes en carro nunca te preguntan quién eres ni te piden documentos para cruzar a México.
No.
Muy difícil.
Bueno, depende, ¿no? depende cómo te ve el oficial que está a este lado. Si ve. What is he saying?
He's explaining why it's hard for someone to bring, because it won't be easy for you to bring someone with the eyes cover or mask. And that will be a red alert for the officers that are there. Normally they don't ask for any document, but they're watching who's coming.
Yeah, and maybe an older lady too.
Yeah, so if they see something suspicious, then they may stop you.
But if they had you in the car in the trunk or something?
Si la pueden esconder en la cajuela.
Listen, I love it. They're not going to say anything. Listen, they're not going to say anything. With all the cartel activity, I mean, Christ, we're seeing that today. These guys aren't going to say anything. I love the ambition to try to look at this guy's just like, I haven't seen anything. I don't know nothing. That's, I think that's the look on the face.
It can happen, but it will be hard.
It will be hard, yeah. Porque de otra forma, pues.
Yeah, there will be other way.
Yeah.
Maybe like that to put someone on the trunk, but if you bring someone sitting on the car, I mean, obviously, the most common thing will be for that person to ask for help.
Yeah.
So unless you're covered or something, but that will cut the authorities' attention.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Porque es muy difícil porque, aparte, hay cámaras. Si tú pasas de allá para acá, todo está, la cámara te está.
Okay, there's cameras on the bridge. So
there's going to be cameras everywhere on the border, people coming in and out. But listen, I mean, come on. You don't know.
I mean, on the port of entry, so they can be checking the cameras also. So
yeah,
that's what they say, that it's not easy. It's not only that they don't ask you who you are, but there's officers looking at people, and there's cameras all the way recording all the time.
So yeah. Si pidieron a las autoridades mexicanas, también puedes checar ahí a norte.
Yeah, that will be one of the tools maybe for them to check the Mexican cameras on the port of entry. Su nombre? Julio Delgado. Muchas gracias.
So we've seen a ton of pharmacies since we came in. There's a big one here. Yeah. So you can get pretty much anything?
I mean, they still have controlled medicine or drugs, but like antibiotics or some other stuff that you can't get without prescription in the States, you can get it here.
Okay.
It's easier.
Because the concern has been that Nancy Guthrie doesn't have her medicine, but if she was here, I think it's like heart medicine, she could probably get it.
Probably.
They could probably get it. Okay, let's go check it out.
¿Hay controlado?
What did he say?
He said that you can find some medicines here without prescription, that you require prescription there. Talking specifically about the heart medicine, it all depends what substance it is. It may be controlled here, it may not. So maybe you get good chances of getting whatever medicine you need here.
With no prescription.
With no prescription. But also it depends on the substance. There are some substances that, yes, you need prescription, but also you can get a prescription from a local doctor, and then you come and you get it. So there's always a way around.
Has he heard of the case?
No, he has not heard of it.
He hadn't recognized the photo. Okay.
No. Can you go? If you want to.
He's a media reporter?
Yeah.
Yeah, reporter, yeah. I'm Brian, by the way.
Okay,
nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice
you good, Mo? So have you heard of the Nancy Guthrie case?
Yes, we have, because Tucson, Arizona is like really close to the border of Nogales. And both communities are, we have families over there, and we're familiar with the case, yes.
Has it been covered in the news here at all?
No, not much coverage. And but we are aware, and we have been following the news. The latest was that they
getting, a real mixed bag of reviews here on, is it being reported? Is it not being reported? That's kind of what we're getting in this situation. Play a little bit more here.
That maybe she was brought over to the Mexican side of the border, so that's where we are at.
Yeah, we were just talking to people, and no one seems to know about it here.
No, because we see the news from Tucson, and we know about the case, but if we, as media, try to get information from the officers, the local police, I mean, they send us to the PIO, and it's really a lot of trouble. So what we do is maybe we get the info from different outlets, news coverage, but we don't get official statements from local police, and even less from the FBI.
How easy would it be to bring someone in, like if you had kidnapped someone?
It's very simple. I mean, I don't know anything about kidnapping people in the United States and bringing them over, but if the local authorities aren't on alert, searching for somebody. I mean, thousands of people come across the border walking and even on vehicles. It's not until they have the alert of somebody missing, they start looking at the camera footage, and they can see if the person came across on foot or on a vehicle. They can see it, but they don't look for it until they know of a
They
case.
request help, yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if they've started looking for this.
I wonder too.
Yeah.
You know, but they won't tell anybody.
I'm kind of surprised it's not on the news more here.
I know, right? No, I don't know. Maybe it's because I told you that it's really hard for us to get official information from authorities.
Yeah.
I just getting the general sense that like people just don't want to talk about this stuff, you know, when it involves, you know, potential abduction or kidnapping. I mean, even kind of feeling it from this, you know, Mexican journalist that reports on the Mexico side. I'm kind of getting the feeling. Are you guys getting the feeling of that? Like just kind of like don't ask, don't tell type of stuff. And I'm telling you, it's because, I mean, look at what we just saw today and what's going on in Mexico at this point right now. It's like an all out war there. And I'm sure it can get very messy quickly, you know, in areas like this. So it's probably don't ask, don't tell. You know, I mean, you can even see his eyes are kind of darting around. You know, I don't want to be seen talking to these guys. Yeah. Yep. I agree, Mimi. She says their mouth says one thing, but their faces tell all. Yep. Tell another. Being nosy there is dangerous, of course. All right, let's
Thank
play
you
a
so
little
much for talking to us. Appreciate it. What's
Your
your
name?
name?
Omar.
Omar. So this is the checkpoint when you're going back to Tucson on the highway. So you drive into Mexico, you know, there's no checkpoints, but this is like the checkpoint once you get back into the US, where they pretty much stop everybody. Again, this doesn't happen on the way into Mexico. So it was super interesting going into Mexico there in Nogales. Again, I think what stood out to me the most is that you can just get in so easily without anyone really paying attention or noticing. I want to give a shout out to Daniel, also our News Nation photographer who helped me do with the translating. He was awesome. And then Mo, of course, behind the camera. So they were awesome. In terms, again, just of sort of where things stand with the investigation in Mexico, the sheriff has said that there's no evidence right now that Nancy Guthrie is in Mexico. The FBI has only confirmed that they have had these conversations with authorities in Mexico. They confirmed that to us. And now you've got the Mexican authorities who came out today and said, so far, we've not received any request in regard from a U.S. authority to actually investigate. They say they don't have any information that would lead them to believe that Nancy Guthrie is in Mexican territory. However, of course, if any requests were to come from U.S. authorities or from federal authorities, we would immediately intervene to assist in supporting the investigation being carried out or in exchanging any information that is necessary. So Mexican authorities are saying that they would agree to cooperate. But I think going back to what some of the people told me there, what's so interesting is just all the cameras. I mean, even though you can just drive into Mexico, no problem, there are a ton of cameras, it seems, are recording every vehicle and every person walking in. So they could probably go back and look at those cameras if they needed to.
Right.
And, you know, if they got some information about a vehicle that Nancy Guthrie was in or something like that, I think that, you know, they could easily go back and look at the camera. So that could end up being very, very helpful. Okay, a couple of other things. So we did get a update from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. Again, today is Thursday. There was nothing really significant in it, but I'm just going to go through everything that they said today. They said this remains an active investigation. As long as leads continue to come in, investigators will continue to follow up on them. Currently, several hundred personnel are assigned to this case from various law enforcement agencies.
Doesn't feel like
actively
it.
Reviewing thousands of tips. So when they say various law enforcement agencies, obviously FBI, Pima County Sheriff's Office. They say lab analysis continues on biological evidence found at Nancy Guthrie's residence. To be clear, this is not new or different evidence from what was already recovered from the property. No further information will be released at this time. So we knew that they found a stranger's DNA.
It doesn't feel like there's 700 law enforcement agents on this case, right? Let's see. Cleopatra said, I also think I also don't think she's in Mexico. I have a feeling she's close to her home. Somebody knows something. It's crazy, even that the FBI has found anything or anybody, or they're not telling us, of course. Yeah. I mean, when does the FBI ever come out and go, hey, we got the facts. Here it is. You know, I'm going to bounce out of this interview here. I have a little while longer. I do have to wrap this soon. I didn't realize how long my presentation was going, but we'll continue to touch on some angles of this case. What I do want to do is I want to go back and look at the actual Nest Cam video. I'm going to play that back a couple of times, and I want to play this, and particularly to the backpack itself, that obviously stuck out to me. And I just want to throw a possibility out there to you guys, just something to crunch on till the next time we meet. Okay, so let's play the video. I'm going to slow it down. Let's play through this video, and I'm going to throw up something here that we can crunch on for next time. So I'm just going to speed it up just a little bit here. All right. Now, and it's coming up. One of the first things that I noticed, and you can see it even on the shoulder harness. I'm going to go back here. That backpack, and I hope you can see my mouse. Oh, you can. There's something very heavy that's weighting that backpack down. Because look, see this right here? That strap is being pulled very tight up against the body. And you can see it. It's got some weight. And then obviously once the suspect turns, you can see that backpack is loaded. Let's play here. And there we go. Fully loaded backpack. That thing is packed. Yeah, and Messi says, I said the same thing. An abduction kit. All right, but I'm gonna throw one more angle out there. And I like where you're going with this, Karen. I like where you're going with this. And someone said tarps are heavy, but I'm gonna put something else out there in a minute. And I want you to crunch on this and tell me what you think. Okay? Everybody's saying a body bag. Everybody's saying tarps. Let's think a little bit more here. Yep, full backpack. And I like that you guys are noticing this. Let's play the rest of this. I'm going to play it out. Full backpack right here. Okay. Now I looked at the light. We obviously know that this person used a light to put in their mouth. You're going to see it here. Bang. There it is the first time we see it. Now I started to think, why would someone want to have a light in their mouth and not in their hands? Well, obviously, they want to keep their hands free. Free to do what? Okay? Free to do what? And let's just think. Free to do what? I'm going to put that out there and let you crunch on that for a minute. Okay. So that was the video. Now, I'm going to bring my presentation back up. Let's just think about this. Why would someone want their hands free if they're entering a home? Okay? Why would someone want their hands free if they're entering a home? There's a couple possibilities here. Okay. I see this. Have control to grab someone. Okay. That's one theory. What's another theory that someone would want to have their hands free? What's another possibility why this person would want to have their hands free? Okay. Everybody's going to the restraining someone. Okay. Think outside that box. Think outside that box. Think outside the box of that. Why would someone want to lighten their mouth and their hands free if they enter a home? So they don't get hit. Okay. Think a little bit more. Why would an unknown suspect go into what happens when people go in to a house that might I'll give you a little bit that might have possessions. Okay? Possessions inside of the house. All right, you guys are saying weapon. Okay. I'm going to give it to you here. I started to think, could this be, and we've seen a lot of kind of people in and around the area with the Nest cams that are being released. Neighbors are seeing, and I don't want to say transients, but we've seen a lot of people in that neighborhood that have been kind of walking around. It all are, yes, you've gotten it. You've gotten it. So, could this have been a break-in burglary that went wrong? Just hear me out. And this person freaked out because someone was in the home. And let's just say this, maybe they didn't think that Nancy Guthrie was home. And maybe they thought, hey, wait a minute. Maybe they had some inside info like, hey, this is Savannah Guthrie's mom. They probably got a lot of expensive shit in that house, right? They got a lot of expensive shit in that house. Doesn't look like anybody's in the house. Or maybe they thought like, hey, there's a pattern or something. She hasn't been there at this certain time or whatever. Just throwing this out there. I understand they said nothing was missing. Listen, you walk in and someone gets up and they're in front of you and you go, holy shit, and it scares you and scares them. What's the first thing you're going to do? No witnesses, right? Now, I was just thinking today, and I'm just throwing this out there, okay? Could this been the type of thing that was in that backpack? Safe cracking tools or burglary tools? Maybe this is a person that's in and around the area that's hitting this area at this time. But, you got to look at it half in fun. And I'm just throwing theories out there. I'm not sticking to this theory. But it says burglars don't default. Abducting an 84-year-old woman who has trouble walking would be bizarre and nonsensical. But you don't want any witnesses, right? And I love it. I'm getting everybody in the chat now talking. Everybody was quiet for a little while. And Karen says you would incapacitate them and you would get the hell out of there. Yeah, sure. Let's see, he had a mask on and he could have ran away. It's true. Burglary tools, yes, but no bulges. Too smooth. Okay, well, let's go back and look. The backpack had some. When I went and looked at it, let's look. Yeah, and Oliver's saying, unless she had something that he wanted. Again, I'm just throwing theories out there. I tend to try to think outside the box. Is there more to this abduction? Is there something in the house that this person wanted? Were they tipped off about something? Were they just thinking that maybe there could have been a safe in there? Is there a safe in the house? We haven't heard anything about that. But look at the backpack's pretty stacked. When you look at it's at kind of a couple of different levels. You have this kind of bulge here, and then this really large section here first in the main part of the backpack, and then towards the end where the where this, I guess, the secondary pack would be. So again, I'm just throwing theories out there. I'm not saying that I'm stuck to this theory, but this is a possibility that I was thinking today. Like, do you think this was a botched robbery that went wrong? Was there someone tipped off that there could be a lot of valuables or jewelry? I don't know. Yeah, and listen, Messi says there was a safe and lock company that came out, and that is true. JLR saw that and actually got that the day that they were out there. So anyway, just another theory that I'm throwing out there. Was this person tipped off? Was this a botched robbery? I don't know. We don't know. There's not a lot of information. Let's see. Dorothy says, no, this was a plan, not a robbery gone wrong. Okay, then where is Nancy? And why would Nancy be taken? What is the missing puzzle piece to this? Dorothy says it was a hit. It was a hit. But where is that missing puzzle piece? The why. The why. And that is, it's kind of where we're left right now. Also, no signs of forced entry. Exactly. So this is the mysterious of this. Revenge. Half says revenge. Revenge. So it opens up all those possibilities. But with that being said, I wanted to leave all of you with these kind of parting thoughts. And we'll see. I will check that out, Mimi. Thank you. And we'll have to see. But that's going to conclude my show tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come back and check me out. If there's anything that breaks in this case until then, obviously I'll jump on and report it live. But I appreciate all of the support tonight. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate all the support tonight. And I know right now the interview room is going. He's got 15,000 people in there and he's discussing Nancy Guthrie. So I know a lot of people are probably over watching that stream, rightfully so. Mr. McDonough has a great show over there. And please go check out his channel if you haven't. But I'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Put some more work into this case. I appreciate you all being here. Look, we'll keep investigating. We'll see what we can come up with. Love to hear your thoughts. Digest what I talked about tonight. Come back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me know your thoughts. We'll be here. If anything breaks in any of the cases that we're following, Epstein files, of course, Nancy Guthrie's case, or anything in the Mexican cartel that I talked about today breaks, I'll definitely jump up and do some live reporting for all of you. Thank you all so much. Please make sure to smash the like button on the way out. Comment after this video post. Make sure to subscribe. And it was nice to see some new subscribers in here tonight too. I appreciate that. And I'll talk to everybody soon. Have a great rest of your Sunday night. And if you're in the Northeast, please be careful out in this blizzard. It's going to be really bad. Probably going to be locked in for the next 24 hours. Talk to everybody soon. Be safe and take care. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.